Chris, welcome to the interviews, man.
Hello, Goblin.
That's great, man. Hey, I'm so happy you could make it. And again, I'm sorry I was such a bother with the emails. I know I could have been a little bit more descriptive, but I know it afterwards. But again, thank you very much for being here.
No, it's a pleasure.
So
Yeah,
you know
this is
what, Chris? I want to get to know the man. All right.
blimey.
So
All right.
you were born where you reside right now.
Yeah, more or less. I was born in Coventry, which is a city a little north of here. But yeah, in the Midlands. I live in a place, Leamington. So we're in Warwickshire here, which is essentially the middle of the Midlands. Sometimes called Shakespeare country because we have got
Okay. So
we got
are you far from Nottingham?
not too far.
Okay.
Not even.
I don't know why I have Nottingham with you. Did you say something about you were going to a Nottingham pipe show lately?
Is it Nottingham? Yes, it is Nottingham. Yeah, it's the Nottingham Pipe Show. In fact, they've just for the first time in, because we've had 2 years without it,
Right.
we've just got the date for this year, which is I'll try and remember now. It's Sunday, the 11th of September.
And is it well attended?
Yeah, it's had up years and down years, but I'm expecting this year is going to be mega because
Because we've missed so much. I know I want to go. I'm closer to the States. I live in Montreal, in Quebec, Canada. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
I have. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But I wanted to go to the Chicago Pipe Show, and they have no information on their website. Nothing, man. It just says that the 2021 unfortunately is canceled, and that's it. That's all the info we got.
Yeah.
So
it was a shame. I knew so many people who booked their tickets for that one, but
really,
yeah, lots of pipe makers had already, as soon as they heard it was going, had bought their plane tickets, but they obviously didn't go through.
And have you ever exhibited there?
Once, yes. I was there a couple of years back. I forget what year, but that was amazing because it was my dream to get to the Chicago Pipe Show, and just met everybody. I think.
And why wouldn't you plan on going every single year? Do you have a stock of pipes, or you're not one of those guys? You're not one of those guys.
I don't make them fast enough to have
yeah.
So of course you need stock to make it worth your while doing the journey. And I hope this year I will make enough pipes to sort of put aside and go next year. That's the plan.
So is that your main gig? Is making pipes, or do you have a day job like a kindergarten teacher or something?
No, I'm a pipe maker. I suppose you could say I have two jobs but they're both pipe connected. One is pipe making, but I also cast resin rods for pipe stems, and that's a good chunk of.
Okay, so I mean,
as well.
your pipes, if I'm not mistaken, they sell fast enough. I mean, when you're showing them on your channel, it's already gone, that pipe, man.
Yeah, once the year is up and running, yeah, they tend to go pretty quick.
So I mean, how can you stock up? You got to make a living. You know what I mean?
I don't know. You stock up by. Hey, do you know Northern Briar? Is Ian Walker? Have you heard of that guy?
It rings a bell.
I've watched him make pipes on his boat, and he's been making pipes his entire life, and he's fast, and he can build up stock, no problem, and it's really kind of finding a way to get every ounce of efficiency going to build up that stock base.
Yeah, but I don't know what type of pipes. It's Ian. I don't know what type of pipes Ian does, but I don't see that happening with you. Like because your pipes are incredibly detailed and intricate, and I'm gonna say, even the pipes that you have in series, they're unique. Each single one of them is unique.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's hard to. I can't really batch process, which is kind of what you need to do to build up.
I know. I know.
And so, yeah, the way that the kind of pipes that I make doesn't really allow for that way of working, but who knows? Maybe one day I'll get there.
Well, you know what? Since I'm talking about your pipes, I'm going to get into more questions later. Let me show off a bit of your pipes, Chris. And I want to know what's going on here. Hold on a second here. Share. So this is your more traditional, type pipe. But
Right.
still not even that traditional because, well, no, it's traditional compared to what you do for sure. But
Yeah,
I just went on your site, and I don't know if you've updated, but I missed this one.
that one has been on there a little while. Obviously, that is, well, it's not a traditional shape in the
Traditional sense. I understand. Yeah.
sort of traditional English or traditional
Right.
Italian or something like that, but it's part of the Danish lexicon of pipe shapes. The Eskimo is kind of a lot of people do make it
from Spotify.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
Alexa, stop. What did I say? What did I
I
say?
don't know.
You're off.
But how long is this pipe, Chris?
What you
In
you asked
length.
me to
In
record the
length.
dimensions?
Well, no, just I just want to know the length.
Probably be about 6 inches.
I mean,
Six and a
that's a
half.
hefty chunk of briar too, man.
Yeah, but it's low. It's got a really low profile. So, I mean, yeah, there's no doubt. It's not a light pipe. You wouldn't clench it unless you had like jaws of steel.
And you know what? I'm looking at the grain. Um, that was purposely done, right? When you looked at that piece of wood, you wanted that grain going, that flame grain, right?
So I had a piece of. So the whole point of a shape like this is the grain. Well, actually, although you do get the straight grain going down the side, the point of the Eskimo is really to show off the bird's eye. It's one of the few
Right,
shapes that focuses on the bird's eye,
right.
because obviously it's like you really widen the shank and to pick up the bird's eye, and you really give that bowl a lot of space to show the bird's eye off on.
That's a beautiful pipe, man.
Yeah,
It
it's
really is beautiful. Is that one's gone?
oh yeah, that's gone. That
You know,
went to a guy who doesn't even smoke, funnily enough.
and I'm gonna get into that. Your pipes and smoking your pipes. That's an issue for me. But hold on a second. Hold on. Let me get to other pipes of yours. We're gonna go. I think we're gonna go progressively more artistic,
Yeah,
for
that's
lack of
fair
a better
enough.
word. I was gonna say weird, but I'm not gonna say weird because I love your pipes, man.
Thank you.
Hey. Okay, let's see here. All right. So that's
My goodness, yeah, that's an old pipe.
well, I was gonna say that's not a common shape for you. I've only seen that.
That is the only one. That so sometimes there's so many ways of coming at making pipes. Sometimes you're thinking about a shape that you want to do beforehand, and sometimes you just grab a bit of wood and start shaping. And
My
this was one of those. This was quite early days in my pipe making career. So this is probably I've maybe been making pipes only maybe about 2 years when I made that pipe.
really?
Um, yeah, and that's just. I mean, I don't even know. I do remember making it, but like I say, it was so long ago. All I know is that I was at the shaping wheel and just going for
You know, when it rains, it pours, man. It's unbelievable.
it.
It's
Or you can have
unbelievable.
phones. Do you know what? I better put my phone on Do Not Disturb.
My God, man. But you know what? I've only seen that shape in your later pipes. In a pipe, I'm gonna showcase. You know what? Right now, and I'm gonna ask you. I don't know what you were on when you were doing that, but it's a hell of a pipe, man. Yeah. Okay, here we go. That one there.
That, yeah, right,
Like,
absolutely.
what
Yeah.
happened, man? Did you wake up like hungover or something? Because uh I think it's beautiful, but it's got the horn shape, but you got the top ears happening, and it's green.
I believe so. It's actually roughly, it's a Zulu. Inside, if you could like cut it open and scoop out its innards, it's a Zulu inside. But as I was making it, um, well, obviously you can see the grain on the outside was
Yeah.
just lovely, and so I thought, well, I really didn't want to sand it away, so I just sort of kept it going, and then you sort of need to make sense of what you've done. So you've done something artistically, but now you need to make sense of it. And and so I went ahead and tried to make sense of it.
And,
Um,
and do you name your pipes after they're done?
yeah, more or less. Yeah,
Okay, okay, yeah, I see.
yeah.
So you,
So
you get the
it's
feeling
the
of the pipe, yeah.
I sort of have explained this before, but I think with my hands. So it's not a, a process where I really visualize it in my mind first. It's kind of just it happens. It happens as you're carving. The idea takes shape. So it's if you saw the rough drawings I did,
Yeah.
they're like a child's drawing. They're really terrible. They're just enough for me to have a starting point. Uh, but then it just all happens with at the shaping wheel or with a Dremel or other carving tools. It
How
just sort
long
of
how long have you been how long have you been an artist? I know you've been an artist all your life because that just doesn't happen, but how long have you been dabbling in pipes?
so I've been making pipes 7 years, but I was making, well, technically 8. I was making pipes for a year before I started selling. So um, I think it is 8 years now.
8
Uh,
years, eh?
yeah, in total. This one, so this is kind of like another one. Uh, I didn't know how it was going to come out before I started. I just knew I wanted the idea was, um, do you know that saying like with carvers, they're just they're not making something, they're just revealing something in the
Yes, yes,
stone
yes,
that's already
yes.
there.
Michelangelo said of David, it was there,
Yes.
you know?
And I kind of wanted to do that where kind of like the pipe was still embedded in the briar that it was being shaped from. And so that's where the idea of this Zulu chrysalis
I
came
think
from.
it's gorgeous. You know, as because there's a beautiful ugliness to it because of the colors you chose, but there's beauty in ugly, man. I mean, I think it's gorgeous. And here's my question: I was going to ask you. Now I commission a pipe for you, and you pull out one of these things for me. How the hell am I going to smoke that, man? Not physically. Like, how can I morally taint that pipe, man?
Well, yeah, it's
Yeah.
I you don't have to, but
Well, I
that's
mean,
what they are made for, smoking.
I
Uh,
know, but I mean, are you trying to build like a Picasso legacy here? You know, like one day they're going to be worth millions. Uh, you know what I'm saying, man? Because I want to smoke a pipe and I want to enjoy. I want to get the essence of Chris in the smoke going through my nose. I can't do it with that, man.
go for a reading pipe then. I would say that they are. Should we say smokable?
I
Uh,
know they're smokable. I
then
mean, that would probably be difficult to hold, anyways, because I don't know how large that is, but it doesn't look small.
no, it wasn't small. No,
Right.
it wasn't. Um, I suppose. I mean, I know that people have bought pipes from me just as objects, and that's fine. And obviously, I also do have pipes that are very sort of workhorse style pipes. I do the strawberries, I do the reeding pipe,
Right, right,
the Viking horns, and
right.
then I do these pieces. Now, what you feel about taking a flame to them,
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Yeah, man. You know, the thing is,
but
I think if I would commission a pipe and you pull out one of these, I'd say, look, do me a pipe on the side there so I can look at it and smoke and pretend I'm smoking it. You know, and you did a beautiful job with the stem and the stummel, the connection there, man.
well, you know, I mean, that was the other part of the actually realized how there's various bits going on in that because the other idea of the chrysalis was you can see the stem and the shank are kind of like the caterpillar.
Yeah,
So then the polished bowl is like the butterfly part. But the carved stem, that I forget where I think it was Christian Wolfsteiner. Have you heard of Christian
no, I
Wolfsteiner?
haven't.
He was a German pipe maker. He was groundbreaking, uh, and it was when I saw he would take lots of people would like do a rustication of some kind, but it would stop at the stem,
That's
and
right.
then the stem would be polished all the way.
That's right.
And it was he that kind of went, why does the rustication stop at the stumble? Surely, in order for the whole thing to flow, the rustication should continue down the stem. And in a lot of his, in fact, I think the rustication even goes all the way to the button. Now, I couldn't quite go that far because I thought you want something smooth. The actual bit that you're going to put in your mouth, you want smooth.
Yes.
And it allows anyway for a kind of like an abrupt change that I quite liked.
No, I like it. I mean, it looks like a head of something,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen the new Peterson pipes. It just looks like a stummel, and then they just shoved with no ring, no nothing. They just shoved like a pipe in
Yeah.
it. Have you
Yeah.
seen that?
I don't know if I've seen those ones. I don't.
Okay, well, I mean, I like Peterson pipes, but that's so damn ugly. It's not even funny because it's just the pipe is rusticated, and then there's this brown little spout that looks like a straw that they just put in. It's just like, what the hell were they thinking? You know, it's anyways. I mean, there's no accounting for taste, obviously. And Chris,
Yeah,
what type of music you listen to, man?
a bit of a range. I mean, I guess mostly metal at the moment.
Like what
Uh,
kind of metal? Nordic metal?
Funnily enough, yes.
But you
Amon
look like a
Amarth,
Nordic metal type of guy.
yeah. So Amon Amarth is one of my big favorites. There's also there's a band called Ghost that is a Swedish rock band, not metal band. And then there's also a band called In Mourning that I think they're either Swedish, but it's melodic. I mean, it is melodic death metal, is what
Is
I.
it operatic?
Not necessarily operatic, but it
Okay.
is majestic. Maybe say that. So it's grand. It is lyrical, even though the vocals might be harsh. But
So there's because I'm a very I'm a musician myself. So these guys you're talking about, does it have like a soft beginning, an intro, and then they start getting into it, and then there's a big development and a huge climax, and then there's a soft exiting?
I mean, yes, it is dramatic music in that sense. So and it's also, especially in the case of Amon Amarth, it's all storytelling. You know,
Okay,
it's all Viking myth. It's all you know,
Tolkien-esque.
yeah. It's all it is Valkyries and
Yeah, it's
gods
cool. I
and a
mean,
lot.
hey, I get into stuff like that depending my moods, you know. And your image and your pipes. What started first, man?
The okay, so the whole Eldritch pipe comes from my Lovecraft obsession,
Right.
because um, Have you read Lovecraft?
I've seen a lot of his movies.
You
You know,
had a
I
lot.
have I have a hard time reading, Chris. I'm ADD, so my eyeballs go all over the place, and I get tired.
Fair enough.
So
Okay, so little deep dive into a brief deep dive into Lovecraft. He's kind of like the father of weird fiction, which
yeah,
is um, it's where horror meets sci-fi,
it's
basically.
more like where horror meets mollusks, or
Yeah, that is also true.
yeah,
Yeah, and I've been reading Lovecraft, and there was like a role-playing game called Cthulhu
yeah.
I played in my teens, and so when I had started making these pipes, and I was thinking, how am I going to put this out there in a way that makes sense to people? Because when I started, I didn't realize that what was going on out in the pipe world. I had no idea. I wasn't in social media. I didn't know that lots of other people were making pipes as well. And so there was me thinking, oh, people might not have seen anything like this. As it turns out, there are all kinds of weird and wonderful pipe makers out there making all kinds of bizarre things. Uh, so I wasn't the first to the show in that sense, but I didn't know that, and I was thinking, how am I going to communicate where I'm coming from? And so in that Lovecraft weird world, like one of his favorite words to describe the weird is eldritch. An eldritch creature from beyond another dimension, another corner of space that you've
The
never
old
seen.
ones.
The great old ones, exactly.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, so um, that's where eldritch pipes came from, and yeah, and it's kind of helped me sort of communicate where I'm coming from for the last 8 years.
And it just dawned on me. Have you had no problems using Eldridge?
No, it's not. No, there's no copyright on the word eldritch.
Okay, okay. Because I mean, if anybody would have used for lack of a better word, elf, I'm sure the Tolkien estate would have come down and said that belongs to us. It's trademarked, man. You know.
Yeah,
And
if I'd have called myself Lovecraft pipes, I might have had a problem.
I think so. Yeah, yeah. Right.
Yeah, but
And
yeah,
like you just when I say obviously you were born an artist because you can't create what you do um mechanically. It comes from within. Okay, I mean, I'm speaking as an artist myself. So what was your shot at? How did you discover you were an artist? What was the first thing you did? Sculpture, painting, music?
yeah, music.
It was music.
Yeah, so I was a songwriter,
Okay.
and my first shot at trying to uh, have a career was in music, but
Okay.
it's that's very hard.
Yeah, I know.
In the cost to succeeding in in those kind of mediums is super high.
Mm-hmm.
You have to sacrifice everything else,
Everything.
and I wasn't prepared to do that. Um, you know, uh, I just wasn't prepared to sacrifice friends, family, relationships. And you have to be if you're gonna be number one. You have to sell everything else. You have to sell your soul and go for that. And I made that choice. I can't remember how far I'd gone along before I understood what the price was and decided that I couldn't pay it. But then I went, okay. Then I went and got a normal job for a while, and then I was ruminating on how I could still be creative while having given up music effectively. I say given up. I still write music. I still
As a
record it.
profession, as a
Exactly.
gig to make money. I get it.
Exactly. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
still do it with my friends, but it's not a route by which I can support.
So what do you you play an instrument?
I played. just about anything I can get my hands on.
Right, right. I get
I'm
you.
not. I wouldn't call myself a guitarist, but I play a bit of guitar.
Right.
I wouldn't call myself a bassist, but I play a bit of bass.
I understand 100%.
Yeah, and and I sing. I wouldn't call myself a singer, but I do some singing because
Hey,
no one else is around to do the job sometimes.
yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
know. No, I 30 years I was a musician, so I know exactly what you speak of. And I'm a classical musician.
Awesome.
So,
What do you play?
so it was a little bit different, but I did my progressive rock stuff in the bars, and you don't come home till 5 o'clock in the morning, no matter what. You're home at 5.
Yeah.
And what, you're gonna get up at 7:30 and play with the kiddies?
Yeah.
It doesn't work, man. It doesn't work.
No. You see, you can do that. You can do all that stuff in your 20s and 30s without sacrificing too much. But as you get older, that price gets higher, and then you just got to make a decision. And it's one or the other. You can't have both. Not in that
No,
world.
man. And the thing is, as you get older, you don't want to go. You don't want to undo the instrument, put it in the car, drive to the gig. It's raining. The sound man's not there. We gotta get another light guy. Hey, look, man. I'd rather just stay home, smoke a pipe, man. I swear to God, it's fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing for me was that although I had a job, I was working for the library service over here. But essentially, at the end of the day, I don't I don't work well for other people.
Mm,
They want me to do what they want me to do,
mm-hmm.
and that's not the way that my brain works. And so, finally finding pipes, and obviously the worst thing over here. I don't know what it's like elsewhere, but over here, there's nowhere you can really learn to do it. You just have to uh, get online, talk to people, uh, usually Americans, because it's the Americans that because there's like there's at least like sort of 500 pipe makers in the States. There's they I don't know when the Americans picked it up and started to run with it, but
I don't
man,
know.
like they just really like kind of like dominate pipe making now.
Well, they're Americans. What do you want? I can say that because they're my neighbors. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, they've just got so much. Um, I mean, I didn't even start talking to Ian and um, uh, oh, flipping Blake Briars. I've forgotten his name. Mike. My brain's a sieve, I'm afraid. Until like years and years and years later, because those guys, they're much older guys. They're not online. You
No, I
can't
know.
just
Yep.
you can't just send them an email. Well, okay, you can send Ian an email, but it's extremely slow.
Yeah.
All your American guys, they're online. They're on Facebook. They're on
Yeah.
Messenger. You can ping them a question, and if you've got a bit of a relationship with them, and they'll help you out.
Yeah. Yeah. I
But
mean, it's funny. Um, I just interviewed Jeremy Reeves, uh, the
yes,
the the blender of Cornell and Deal, and I just uh, texted him this morning. I said, "Hey, man, you should do a series on artists, like Barishnikov or Yeats or whatever." And he was like, "That's interesting," right away. And I was like, "Wow, that's cool." But anyways, enough about me, man. Uh, I don't see you having any influences in the pipe world. Am I right?
do you mean other pipe makers?
Yeah.
I mean, my aforementioned Christian Wolfsteiner. Um, I'll send you a little link if I can. Criminally, there's not too. He used to have a website. He died a couple of years ago, tragically. But he used to have a website. It was called Tarek Briar, and there was a gallery of a lot of his pipes on there. But the website's gone now. I just pinged Stephen Muller the other day. He's another German pipe maker, saying, "Does anybody know where there's a cache of photos of his work?" Because it was amazing.
Seriously.
Yeah, it was amazing work. You haven't seen the like. I mean, if you think my stuff is off the wall, I'm a beginner. He's the master.
Holy please send me that link. I can't imagine.
But yeah, I don't know where people keep a sort of like a deposit of photographs of his work. But if we're not careful, it'll just disappear.
Like, is nobody's in touch with anybody from that family or anything? Does nobody know?
No, his Facebook page is still up, Christian Wolfsteiner, and perhaps
how do you spell that, Chris?
So Wolfsteiner,
WOLF.
yeah,
Steiner.
WOLFSTEINER.
Okay, gotcha.
So you might be able to troll his Facebook page, and maybe there's a bunch of stuff there. And yeah, it'll blow your mind. Yeah,
Really, I can't even fathom what I'm gonna check out. I'm gonna bring up another one of your pipes, man. And you know what? What happened here? You went all sweet on us.
Yes. Okay, I have talked a little bit about this one before. This was a direct desire to do. Do you know? Have you heard of the Dunhill LC pipe?
No.
Okay, so it was, and in some quarters still is a famous pipe because it had curved drilling. This is like knowledge available only to very few people.
I understand.
And I don't have it, but I wanted to do this full bent that was impossible to drill. And so I'd been making my alchemist pipes, these sort of resin and briar bonded pipes, for a couple of years, and I thought I could see a way of doing it. So this is my version of an impossible drilled pipe.
Yeah, my wife would love that, man. You know what I mean? I mean, some of your other designs are a little bit risque, for lack of a better word, for her. But
the great thing about that one, of course, is that it wasn't drilled.
You bent the acrylic.
Exactly. So
yeah,
the way of doing it that was my way, and that hasn't been done. No one else has done that, to my knowledge.
I see this shape a lot, and I really, really, really love this shape. But I've never seen it. Like, this looks like the brother of the pipe we just saw. That being the sister, it being the sister,
yes, Yeah, this pipe came before. And this is my reanimated Viking horn.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's like it taps into the Herbert West, which is Lovecraft territory again.
Okay.
And this is I think this was the second resin pipe that I made. The first one was the Alchemist Strawberry. I don't know if you clocked that one.
Maybe I do, maybe.
And then I just started to see what shapes would fit well with this idea. The strawberry pipe appealed to me first because it had this, I don't know, I just could see how it would look immediately interesting, whereas I wasn't sure if people would get what was going on here straight away. So this was a...
Now, how do you shape that by hand?
Yeah.
So how long does it take you to create that pipe, man?
Okay, in the resin pipes, there's quite a few processes. It takes a while to make those because you have to. So first of all, you've got your briar block.
Right.
Then you have to cut it up into separate pieces. Then you need to rusticate them so that the resin has a rough surface to key into.
Right.
It's not super important, but it's just like this extra, I would call it safety feature. The
Right.
more detail there is for the resin to lock into, the better I feel about it. And then you have to cast the briar into the resin, and then you pull it out, and you've got like a briar resin block that you then have to cut into for the pipe shape, and then you're into normal pipe making territory after that. But
But that resin is stuck to the wood something fierce though.
the wood will break before the resin comes off. Yeah, for sure. No, that's locked onto like a death grip. Yeah.
Really, eh? And you know, I'm a fly fisherman, and I do Atlantic salmon flies, the classic ones. And I was looking at the shape of that, and the top of the pipe, the bowl, is almost completely equal to where the stem comes out.
Yes. Well, so the design of the Viking horn came about because uh, I was just thinking that most horns, they point away from you, so you can't actually see when you're lighting the bowls.
Yeah, I know, and you burn the hell out of you burn. I've been there.
Yes, it just happens. It's the price you pay for that beautiful shape. Um, and I thought, is there a way of doing a horn where you can actually see what you're doing? And so, and also, at the tobacconist I was working in at the time was selling Viking drinking horns, and like just the two pieces of the puzzle just went together, and it's like, yes, that's the way it's got to be. Viking drinking horn is that shape.
Here's another one. Here's another horn, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gorgeous, man. Seriously.
Yeah, that yes, that was what can I say about that one?
I don't know.
Beautiful
You
horn.
could patent that color thing into a stocking that you can wear, because I mean, bloody hell, that's gorgeous, man. And hold on, I just saw right now at on the bowl, there's a little darker edge. Was that been smoked?
No, that's not been smoked. No.
Okay, okay. Because I thought, man, and
That's
you do your own acrylic too, eh?
yeah. That is that actually that is some of mine. Yeah. Um, the I don't know if you know this, but like certainly one rabbit hole that pipe makers fall down is how to color the pipe, because in a perfect world, everything that we do would be completely original and no one else would be able to copy it.
Yeah,
And so
no.
each pipe is you know,
Yes.
is uncopyable would be the ideal. And so quite a lot of us spend time looking into ways to color the pipe that is not the way that everyone else is doing. And that color is one of those where it's not, well, obviously I'm not going to say how I've colored it, but it's not a I mean it's a normal I better not get myself into trouble here. It's how can I say it without giving it away? It's there's lots of ways of getting color onto a pipe that are not the usual.
Traditional.
Yes, exactly. That's
I mean, it looks like lizard skin, man.
yeah.
Or a very expensive Louis Vuitton leather, man. It's gorgeous. And
I think
if someone wanted to put in a commission and they want that, I'm not going to say that exact pipe, but one similar to that, is it still possible?
yes, yeah, I yeah. So commissions, yeah. Well, okay. So the world of commissions is generally, as long as everyone is a little bit flexible, commissions are fine, and I'm booked up till God knows when. But
Yeah,
um, if someone comes up to me and says, "Hey, I'd like, this version of this pipe that you've done,"
right.
that's that's totally possible. If someone says, "Can you make me this pipe?"
Yeah,
That
no,
makes me very nervous.
of course.
Yeah, no, it just doesn't happen. I'm not a factory. I'm just a guy.
You're an
So,
artist, man, and I wouldn't expect you to make the exact same pipe. I wouldn't want the exact same shading, coloring. Something is gonna come out. Basically, I want a pipe made from the guy who makes pipes at Eldritch, man. You know what I
and
mean?
that's and totally, and that's kind of like when the best pipes happen, is when someone knows
The
the
artist.
yeah, and they go, okay, this is the style of pipe that I want, but obviously, I want to pay for an original. I want my pipe to be unique as well.
Well, talking about unique, and it's funny because I'm an amateur mycologist, and so trompette de la mort is a mushroom,
It is.
and they're gorgeous, wonderfully tasting mushrooms, especially in a nice creamy pasta. Holy moly, is
Nice.
that good? Now,
Very good.
is this a big pipe?
Yeah, but it's not wide, but it is tall. Yeah, it is tall. It, it's at least 2.5, if not 3 inches tall.
Really, eh? So that's a hefty pipe, man.
Actually, no, it's not that. There's not actually that much wood in it because uh, the outside of the bowl pretty well follows the shape of the chamber. I actually use a conical chamber bit, and so the walls of the chamber, the outside, they follow it pretty. There's not a lot of what would you call? There's not a lot of bulk wood on it, so it's actually quite a light pipe. The heaviest part is just the rim, I would say.
Now hold on, the top of the pipe going like the whole stumble of the pipe. That's not one piece of briar.
Yes, it is one piece of
Right.
brick.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you were saying that's not an insert that shiny top, right?
No, so yeah, no, it's not like a calabash. No,
Right. Exactly.
it's a single piece of wood.
And I like what you did with the stem, man. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, again, that was I do that an awful lot, especially on the stream pipes. Especially I think the trompette de la mort was the first of the mushroom pipes, and then then a lot of others went a different way into just kind of strange mycelia territory.
You into mushrooms?
Yeah,
Okay, we'll
yeah.
stop there. Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, actually, there's two that I haven't yet figured out how to make just yet, but they're in the back of my brain. One is the inky cat mushroom.
Yeah, we get a
Um,
lot of those here.
yeah, I've got an idea of how to do it, but I've got to do some experiments. It's to do with resin, using black resin. Um, and then the other one that I'd like to do is the fly agaric, but I don't know how to make that look
Well,
good
it's
at the
gonna look
moment.
cute. The fly agaric. That's the
Yes.
problem. I don't see cute in you.
I was going
I
to say,
don't
if
know.
I did it, I would corrupt it quite
You'd
heavily.
have to
So,
corrupt it.
yes, it would be a fly agaric from some kind of horror movie. Yeah.
You know, uh, there's a mushroom. We have mushrooms over here that are quite unique. One is completely purple, but purple, almost black lightish purple. And when you cut it, it bleeds blue.
Right. Nice.
Now, if I've ever
Nice.
find it again, I'll take a picture of it and I'll cut it. I'll make it bleed. I'll gross it out as much as I can so you can be inspired.
Awesome. Yeah.
Hold on, let me show you another one here. And this one, this one took me aback because I didn't see you doing it. If I can find it, yes, I have. Now, this is not a hookah pipe; it's a briar pipe. It's a tobacco smoking pipe. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah. But as you see, is inspired by a hookah pipe.
Right.
Um, uh, Now, I've only ever made one of these, although someone has been trying to commission one for about a year now, and I think they've almost convinced me to do it. Um, the the whole I wanted a feel. So it's called the Alhazred desk pipe, and again, it's a link to a Lovecraft character, and I love that style. But obviously, I didn't want to make a hooker pipe. I wanted to make a briar pipe, a tobacco pipe.
Yeah, yeah.
This thing, and so this was iteration one, and I've got some ideas for how to improve it, but it's meant to look also a bit like a candle, like a flame.
Yeah, I see the flame for sure.
Yeah, that. So yeah, but that was blimey, that was a piece of work.
Well, I'm looking
Every
at it.
every piece of that is handmade. So
Now I'm gonna ask you the hose.
yes,
Let's say, okay, this is not meant to be used. I mean, no one's gonna use this except I'd love to. Um, but let's say these shapes came in, they started becoming standard. Someone rips you off. Let's say Dunhill rips you off. Not even Dunhill. A lower pipe guy rips you off and starts making these pipes, and they have that hose. How do you clean that hose, man?
so that hose is food grade silicon hose.
Okay,
And what you would do is you would put that the sheath on the outside is just
it's a braided,
it's a polyester weave.
right?
So the whole thing you put in a warm bath. So you'd
I
like
see.
with warm water, submerge it, because you can totally you just submerge the whole thing and just leave it there for the.
So, man, you actually had functionality in mind when you made this.
Yeah, well, what's the point?
Well,
What's the
like I
point
said,
in
who's gonna
making it if you
smoke this, man? Who's gonna smoke that? You know?
can't? Yeah. Well, actually, the few improvements that I've made, well, I'm proposing to make, is that so you see that the main column in
Yeah,
that, so that's hollow.
right.
So the smoke goes down from the briar
Tube
into the column, and then back up
into the
into
tube,
the
right, right.
yeah.
So you get a
Um,
cool smoke.
yeah. In terms of actual functionality, it works. Unfortunately, the downside is that the tube that you're smoking is attached to the top. So even though it's got a wide base, it's still actually every time you move, it wants to fall over. Do you see what I mean? You're sort of
Yeah,
pulling on the top of it. So the
yeah.
improvement to make is to actually put the hole into the base and then attach the tube into the base, which is what I will do the next time I make it, and then it will look prettier as well because then the stem won't be right next to the bowl; it'll be down on the ground, and you'll just see it'll be like more like a statue, more like a more like a sculptural piece.
Okay. Okay. I was gonna say the only thing I could see smoking in that is opium. And talking about opium, I guess you know what I'm gonna show next.
Might it be the opium pipe?
Might it be? Let me see if I can get it here quickly. I was looking at your the main four horsemen, the horsemen of death there. Bloody
Yes.
hell, man. I mean, Chris, do you have any children?
Yes.
So Disneyland, you're not ever going to bring them to Disneyland. Because I know they would say, like, what the hell, Dad? Well, I don't,
Yeah.
wow. I
Yeah.
thought I had the opium. Sorry, Chris.
That's all right.
Scheiße.
It's gone.
Yeah. Well, there's your mollusk or a snail.
Yes, that was. This is one of my favorites to make. Um, the the original shape, so like the full briar shape, uh, was really heavily influenced by a shape that a Japanese pipe maker. Well, is he Japanese or
You're talking
Chinese?
about Suge.
Lu Zifeng is his name,
Oh, Chinese.
Chinese. And he made this shape. His was quite floral, I would say. It kind of look like a flower, but in my mind, I'd flipped it round to my own purposes, and I got a snail out of it.
Well,
And
it's funny that you say flowery, because right after, if I can say, let's say the Briar. Right after that, there's a ball. It looks like one of those snow globes. I'm looking into it. It's like something's happening inside of there.
That's one of the pleasures of being able to make your own resin is that you can play with stuff that not a lot of people get to play with. So getting to use iridescent pigments, you can't really find it out there. In order to be able to play with these things, you just have to do it yourself. And in fact, I've wound up actually using that pigment actually straight onto Briar in a couple of pipes at the end of last year to do like the pipe is Briar. There's no resin on it at all, but it's got like an iridescent finish on the whole thing, and that works really well too.
Man, I can almost see the slime from the snail. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, some of them do. The resin like works its way around to the plateau and just leave
And
it.
Chris, man, where do you get your material? Do you get it from Europe or do you get it from the States?
Do you mean the Briar or
Yeah.
from Italy?
You get it from Italy, eh?
Yeah, so pretty much straight from the suppliers.
And what do you have the option of choosing the pieces, or you get a bag of burlap and here you go, boy?
Yeah, you just say what you want, so what size and what quality, and then they just send you the box. You'd have to go to them if you wanted to be able to pick your own pieces. And one day, maybe I will do that. But generally, Briar suppliers are pretty conscientious towards pipe makers, individual pipe makers. They know what we're after. They know what we need as well, for the
So
most part.
you always go to the same one. It's reputable and the same house, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried just about everybody, and I've stuck with Mano Briar is their name. I've stuck
Mano.
with them now for about 4 years. They just do the size and quality that I like, and it's not. There are the main categories for Briar are you generally only get extra or extra extra. That's the way it goes.
Okay.
So extra extra is the one that you choose, but there's just one, maybe two guys who've broken it down into a third quality. So like the super.
And does it show? Do you see the difference? Man, it's got to be in the way you cut that root. It has to be.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the root is natural, so some root just doesn't have that much grain in it,
Right.
and some does, but it's very open, maybe not very interesting.
Right.
So it's the luck of the draw. You cut that root open. What have you got? Half the time, remember, we're only getting the Briar that was from product that was even viable. They're cutting stuff open, and it's just like no good at all. It just
Right.
throw the whole thing away. But I don't know. Obviously, I've not been in pipe making that long, historically speaking. Obviously, you've got pipe makers who've been making for 10 years, 20 years, 30
Yeah.
years. And so how Briar cutting has changed over the years to cater for different markets, I don't know. I've got a feeling that back in the day, Briar may have been cut for quantity rather than quality.
Yeah.
Whereas now, more and more, it's cut for quality rather than quantity.
Yeah. So it's an art in itself, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, it's definitely an art in itself. Well, there's the big name of Mimo
Yeah,
from Romeo Briar. Everyone knows his name because he's just, he's an artist in the category of cutting briar.
exactly. So he can charge top dollar, and if you don't want it, I'm sure Nording's gonna take it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, I don't think he's got any problem with people wanting it. Everyone
No,
wants.
but I mean, how much Briar is there? How much Briar can he get, man?
I don't know. I mean, more worryingly in the world of briar is who's replanting it, because it takes 20 years before it's any good to anybody. Um, I haven't heard of people planting briar as fast as they're harvesting,
I don't think so.
or even planting at all. Who knows the ecology of the state of briar? I don't know.
So and just give me a round figure, okay? In the terms of when you buy Briar and you pull out a chunk of Briar, that Briar that you're holding in your hands, what's that piece worth
What's it worth to
as
me?
as a raw material? Like, are we talking more than? I can't talk pounds. I can only talk dollars. Are we talking like this is easily a $50 piece of wood, just to throw in
It's
the campfire type thing?
um, do you know that it's said that Mimo will only sell certain pieces of briar to certain pipe makers, because the reason being, if you've got a piece of briar in your hands and you go, okay, this briar could yield a pipe worth £1,000, right? The caveat being in the hands of the right pipe maker.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, because if that piece of briar goes to somebody who doesn't know what to do with it, it's a £50 pipe.
I know, and I mean, I'm gonna say, like, what the hell right does he have choosing the artist, this and this and that? But you know what? Thank God we have that guy who knows the business, who knows the artists, and says, "Hey, I got a great piece of wood. Hey, Michelangelo, I got a nice piece of marble for you." Or, "Hey, Jackal,
Yeah, and I mean, I think maybe maybe a lot of people would have that initial instinct. What right does he have to be a
I know,
gatekeeper?
but I understand."
But but um, he is. You could call him the Briar Whisperer if you like.
I got
You
it.
know,
I got it.
he's dug this thing up. He's cut it to perfection. Why would he give it to some chump who doesn't know what to do with it?
Because he's paying for it?
Well, maybe you could say you could leave it up to the market. Yeah, I mean, maybe he could just stick it on eBay.
But
See
it's a
what
shame.
the
It's a
price.
shame. Yes, I totally agree. And he seems like a nice guy. I'm gonna try to get in touch with the guy because I speak Italian, so I can do an Italian interview with the guy, no problem.
Nice, nice.
But I mean, it's the same time in Italy as it is for you now, isn't it?
More or less, yes.
Maybe an
Maybe
hour,
just an
give or
hour,
take an hour.
give or take an hour. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And remember, like for some of those pieces of briar, the ones that he'll be holding back, the pipe makers that buy that, they'll be paying more for that piece of briar than most people would pay for a pipe. That's what we're talking about here.
seriously, yeah.
Yeah, that's just the way it is.
So what we're
Because
talking easily $200.
yeah. For the right piece of for that like singled out piece of briar, that could go easily. Yeah.
Holy cow, yeah, man! I've got a lot to learn in the marketing aspect of pipe making.
I
I'm gonna.
mean, let's face it. I mean, this is the rarefied air of pipe making. This is like the the group of pipe makers that Mimo would be selling that piece of briar to is very small. Uh, it's not like there's hundreds and hundreds of people who would be willing to pay that for a piece of
A
briar,
piece
or
of wood.
yeah, or B, necessarily even have the skill. I mean, I couldn't. That's not in my uh, set of skills. Shaping to grain like that. That's like a very particular kind of way of working that I don't do.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it takes an old soul to work with a piece of wood like that. You know, like someone who's lived thousands of years. You know what I mean?
It takes a lot of empathy to the material, but it also requires um, just
Guts.
well, and letting the wood completely dictate what pipe it's going to be. And I don't know if you've seen my pipes, but I tend to be the one with the will to tell the pipe what it's going to be.
You know what? Well, you're very good with the wood, man. I've noticed that, Chris. Don't put yourself down there, man.
I won't. But yeah, tend to be an ideas first guy.
Yeah, and I get it.
Yeah, and also that I don't have the clout to charge £2,000 for a pipe. That's not the level that I'm operating at the
It's
moment.
coming. It's coming, man.
Um, it's different people who obviously if you're buying an L-tang pipe, then you're paying £1.5 grand. You're paying whatever, and he's worked long and hard to get into that
I
stratosphere.
know. I know. I know.
And it takes, for pipe makers to get to that level takes a lifetime of
Yeah,
working at it.
it's like any artist, man, any musician. An 80-year-old, an
Yeah,
80
you
year
can't just stick a piece of acrylic
no,
into a bit of wood and get £1 grand for it. You
no.
just
Like
don't
my teachers told me, you can't buy experience, man. No matter what, you can't buy experience. You know.
It's true. Yeah, you
Hey,
can't.
Chris, I'm gonna cut it off. Thanks so much for talking, man. I hope we keep in touch because I'm gonna want to do this again. I'm sure when you're gonna put out a certain pipe, I want to talk about that pipe. You know.
Sure.
So I hope we can do this again. And
I'd love to.
if do you want to? I'm sure you have enough commissions, but do you want to say if someone wants a pipe, where they can get it from?
Always the best way, although I am on the social media, email is the best way, devilsreef@gmail.com. If you want to have a chat about a pipe. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, Chris, thanks, and
Pleasure, man.
I'll see you soon.
See you soon, man. You're going to kill me. I was sitting here because I didn't know what we'd be talking about. This is what I'm carving at the moment.
Okay, keep it there, keep that. I could put little snippets, you know. Now that looks like a Roman marble piece.
By the time I'm done with it, it's going to kind of look like a crustacean kind of shell. That's the way that it's going to go here.
How long does it take you? How long did it take you to get to that stage?
I've been working on this for it's a week and a half now.
You're talking about every day?
A little, yeah, but it's not the only pipe that I work on.
No, I
So,
understand.
working on this will be a bent egg.